Good morning or afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to another video here by Adrian for the Forecast. And this is going to be another very exciting video here in the hurricane as we get closer again to hurricane season 2020 here in the Atlantic as we get closer and closer to June 1st. So we have major updates, and this is actually not going to be a general hurricane season forecast. This is actually going to be a look into why we can be seeing a lot more activity and action and potentially hurricane landfall out here into the eastern coast of the United States. We're going to be looking very detailed into why that's the area of focus in the bullseye for potential major major hurricane landfalls. And I actually want to thank guys all for the support in the past 2 days on that severe weather outbreak there. I want to thank you guys so much. We've gotten a ton of support in those other videos. And I want to thank you guys again so much for support for all the new subscribers and supporters. So again, this is going to be another update. We're going to be looking at the ENSO outlook once again. I have a couple new maps, and I have one or two from the one from last time. So they might look the same, but there's also a couple different ones. Also, again, be sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel. Again, let's try to get to 2,000 and 120 subscribers by the end of today. We only need 3 more subscribers to get there. Again, also be sure to share the channel to any friend or family, again, to help my channel grow. And again, I do daily weather forecasts, and yeah, I'll have a lot more hurricane videos to come before we actually get into hurricane season. But without further ado, let's get in this video. So of course, we're going to continue to look at the ENSO outlook. It has not updated since the last time because it updates once every 3 weeks, I believe so. Or if not, it's once every month. And again, so we do have an ENSO neutral right now. Again, and the biggest threat to having a guaranteed active hurricane, or not guaranteed, but a very good chance for seeing a very active hurricane season is a La Nina. And that's basically because we'll be seeing less wind shear in the Atlantic, and that's going to cause a lot more hurricanes to develop a lot easier, faster, and it's going to, obviously, if they develop a lot faster and easier, it won't be as hard for them to drift off into the mid-Atlantic, but usually take their normal track heading towards the Caribbean and then, of course, the Atlantic Ocean. So we're going to be looking at the probability ENSO outlook here for the Northern Hemisphere for this summer. Again, this is going to have to depend for this summer. So in the gray, we have neutral forecast probability. In the blue, we have La Nina, and then in the red, we have the El Nino. So again, really even neutrals. Neutrals are like with winter, sometimes it's different every year. Same thing with neutral, but we've seen also very active hurricane seasons during neutral. So again, it's not like if it's not a La Nina, it's not going to be active again. It's just on average, La Nina brings usually, again, more active hurricane seasons than in the past other seasons. So again, this is what we're going to be looking at. So as you can tell, most of the models are agreeing with a neutral being, if not the highest to close to the highest probability for this summer. Again, most of them, half of them are going more than a 50% chance, which is actually a pretty good chance that they are forecasting a neutral to continue to the summer and to summer in the Northern Hemisphere. But in second place, in the second highest, we have a La Nina. And the highest is actually going up to a 40% chance. And the lowest for neutral is actually up to a 40 as well. So that's indicating that some models actually believe La Nina is actually also possibly getting a bigger of a chance as well, with El Nino is the lowest except for the FMA and NAM models and AMJ. But as we get to the JAS, SOO, the SON and OND, this is when we see this La Nina probability became a lot more likely. So again, La Nina could possibly in the next update could be the first highest probability on average from all these models. So again, right now it looks like the highest chance is for a neutral, and if it is a neutral, it will be a very weak neutral, not a strong neutral. So that also could indicate very strong an active hurricane season. You're about to see why here in the model outlook. So again, a El Nino is a 0.5 or above on the SST anomaly, which is surface sea temperatures, and then below a negative 0.5. This is La Nina territory. So basically, right here, this is a La Nina. So this is where if you really want an active hurricane season, you're going to want things to be below this. So this is the mark to beat right here for La Nina. And then up here, this is where we have a El Nino, and this is where we have a chance for seeing maybe a bit less of an active hurricane season. Doesn't mean it's not going to be as doesn't mean that we're not going to have major hurricanes. Just doesn't mean we're going to have a good chance of seeing a very active hurricane season. And in between here, again, we have a neutral. And that varies every single year depending on the wind shear, these SSTs, all depending on all of that. And again, also depending on whether we have surface low pressure systems even developing. So again, right now the highest chance is for a neutral. But here's the thing: we're starting to see these models right here. You can see on the lower side of neutral. Starting if we go a bit further in, we'll start to go now below a negative 0.5 Celsius, which means, of course, pretty much a weak La Nina. But again, even if it does not cross negative 0.5, look right here in this range. This is where we have a weak neutral, and a weak neutral can also possibly indicate a very strong and active hurricane season. And look, we have multiple models there, so. And basically, it looks like we could be seeing again a really good chance for a La Nina or neutral. Still have to wait a bit longer, but right now it's a neutral as of right now. And depending on the sea surface temperatures, exactly how they react later on. Now we're gonna be looking at the future long forecast here. And as you can tell, again, here we have the 0.5 right now, and the negative 0.5, all that. So again, as you know, this is the future all the way into what the models will see, indicating for maybe later this summer. And as you can tell, here they are right now at a strong El Nino or a strong neutral right now. Again, right here they are all right now. It's actually close to a El Nino, even though that's what we were supposed to have earlier this winter. We actually had an El Nino this winter, but then it converted into a neutral later on. So that's why we have a very strong neutral, because again, it was just an El Nino a couple of months ago. But as you can tell, here's a point where it crosses a weak a weak neutral, and here's the point where it crosses a La Nina. And look, as you can tell, all of the models are very close. Here's the border line right here. We have a couple models right here, one or two, but 99% of the models do show it going the future forecast to a La Nina, which means it doesn't guarantee, guys. It's just a very good chance on the average of the past other La Ninas, and just on what La Nina brings for the ocean, that could possibly bring in a very active hurricane season for this year, indicating a lot more hurricanes, a lot more tracks to possibly head to the United States. Again, this is what I had last time. This is my general cone for hurricanes to come this year. Again, most of them do develop right here off the coast of West Africa, especially early on in between really June to July. That's where we have most of these bands develop. And then we also have later on, this is also the area of focus, we also have areas developed, especially out here in the Gulf. But again, really the most is right here where we have those long track and major hurricanes, since they have to go through the warm waters a lot longer. So again, if you're in the yellow, or the yellow is up my cone, of course, and here is where most of these systems will be. So again, really, it's a very good chance we're going to have multiple hurricanes come right here in the next couple months, as you can tell. Not only because we're seeing weak wind shear here, which will also relieve the stress from the hurricanes and tropical storms, instead of really, because with wind shear, if a system does develop, which they do, doesn't mean they're not going to see doesn't mean you're going to see zero hurricanes. But wind shear tends to take down hurricanes and weaken them. Again, you can have a Category 5. They can develop. Major hurricanes could develop with wind shear. It's just then they start to kind of fall apart and maybe go into Category 3 or Category 2 right before it makes landfall. Same thing happened out here off the coast right there in North Carolina. So again, this is my general code. We'll be seeing multiple hurricanes. If most of the hurricanes, it doesn't mean we're not going to have any hurricanes go right here. Of course, we're going to have hurricanes go like that due to the winds and how a high pressure system does act. But again, doesn't mean we're not gonna have hurricanes here. Again, this is just the best chance. This is the cone. Again, same thing when a hurricane does happen. The cone is the best and predicted the best really long forecast where I go, but doesn't mean it's going to go in there. But again, this is where my cone is. Again, really going also through the East Coast and the Gulf, but Florida, Georgia, the Carolinas, you guys can possibly really be seeing a bit more hurricanes compared to normal. Now again, we're going to be seeing above average ocean temperatures throughout much of the Atlantic Ocean. Again, for those people who don't know, hurricanes thrive on warm waters. If it does not warm waters, it really can't grow. Even if there's a small pocket of cold water and it goes over that, it can weaken within possibly 50 plus mile per hour winds. It can drop a lot of energy if it crosses over any cold water. But it looks like much of the Atlantic Ocean, all the way from the coast from Africa to the coast of the United States, could be above average temperatures, and that is indicating just a major open window for hurricanes to develop there with the above average temperatures. Because average temperatures in these areas are already in up the 80s in this time time of the summer, in August, September, and October, quite warm. Especially in the Caribbean, we can possibly see 90s out there, really warm temperatures. And if it does avoid those islands and it continues to go through developing right here, especially if it does develop right here, there's a very good chance we can have Category 3, Category 4, Category 5 hurricanes that will be heading in. The best track, of course, is the open window is right here now for the Gulf and the East Coast as well. So all the way up to maybe Southern Virginia, we could be seeing a very good chance for those developing hurricanes, if not landfall. And again, you may have not been on the cone, but you can also possibly see maybe, let's say you average 0 hurricanes per year, for example, in New Jersey, you might get maybe skins by 1. That, of course, will be above average. Of course, again, now wind shear, that will be, again, less wind shear if if a La Nina does develop. And even if a weak neutral does, if it does stay as a weak neutral, also going to be seeing less wind shear again. That's going to relieve one con on hurricanes developing, and see more pros as of pros and cons. So definitely a big thing if there's less wind shear, and that can definitely make the numbers of hurricanes this year differ a lot. If we even have more wind shear or less wind shear, that's definitely change the outcome of a hurricane season. Now, this is what we're going to be seeing very interesting right now. We are going to be seeing a threat again for multiple systems could develop at one point. Again, we have all of these oceans right here. All of this, we have an open window with above average temperatures to have systems develop. Again, we can be seeing multiple hurricanes at some points, multiple systems develop like we saw with Maria and Jose, one behind one after the other. Again, it's a very good chance. And again, it doesn't mean we're going to be seeing 3 at a time. This is actually just showing you how that this is going to be best areas we can be seeing hurricanes develop. For example, this could be a very good area where we have this symbol right here, this hurricane symbol. That's a very good area where we're going to be seeing tornadoes come. That's just not there for no reason. That's actually there to show where we have the best chances for hurricanes to come. These 3 are showing the best tracks for hurricanes, where we have in between that cone. These are the best tracks. Again, number 1 right here, this is where we have usually hurricanes develop right here off the coast of South America, and usually develop maybe past the Virgin Islands. And then that's where we have these systems possibly either going through the Gulf, going through Mexico, and then affecting the Gulf. If not, we usually have, again, maybe systems develop right here or off Cancun, and then it heads again towards the Louisiana area. Now, also a very famous track that we usually see a lot is right here, where we have systems that go past the usually Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, and if not, go past the Dominican Republic, Haiti, if not, maybe even take it in between and then hit. This is why we have a very good chance. And also, as well, a number 3, this is also a very big chance of happening multiple hurricanes now that come closer now, more closer to Bermuda, seeing maybe hurricanes possibly affecting now much of the eastern coast, now affecting the Carolinas, Delaware. We can also have major systems that, if we have a high pressure system, they can go up the east coast and possibly affect New York and New England, or maybe even Nova Scotia. So this is what we're seeing again right here. Again, like Dorian, where we had that go all the way up to Nova Scotia. due to when it stalled off the Bahamas and went up right here. It went right around the coast. That is what we can be seeing with major multiple systems. Not doesn't mean it doesn't have to be multiple hurricanes. It could be multiple lows, multiple depressions, multiple storms, tropical storms. So this is a new map I created like the other one. This is where we have a general not outlook really. Again, here we have in the greenish color the best chance for development this year. Of course, with the warmer waters and less wind shear, then we have where these storms will most likely go. Really, the storms will obviously will move east, and this will be the best chance where they'll go. We have one there, one there, one there, etc. So in the orange track that you see right here, this track, that is 1 to 2 hurricanes. Again, this is not 100% right. This is a prediction based on what we're seeing with the ENSO and what we're going to be seeing later in the video in tropical tidbits. Again, this is just not random. This is a very good prediction, and I've seen other videos, and most of them are agreeing as well. So in this orange track that does come now, if we have a high, this is where we'll see it now go away to the east coast. Or if there's cooler waters and it does avoid that, that will also have that track. So we can possibly see 1 to 2 hurricanes out here in this area. It doesn't mean they're going to be major. They can be category 1, category 2. And again, doesn't mean it's going to make landfall necessarily. It could possibly, again, we have this whole cone right here. It can be right on the edge, possibly like this. That's still going to be in the cone. And again, it could possibly, this could extend. And again, it can possibly go like this. But again, doesn't mean we're going to have exactly 1 to 2 hurricanes. We can have 1 to 2 hurricanes in this cone, but not all of them will make landfall, if that makes sense. So it doesn't mean we're going to have 1 to 2 hurricane landfalls in these areas, just possibly 1 to 2 hurricanes in that cone on that track. And then, again, also, it's most likely that we'll have landfall. And then we can possibly see 1 to 2 tropical storms coming in these areas, as there usually tend to be cooler waters there, and that's when it weakens, like Dorian did. Again, so that's what we're seeing there. And then the purple color, that's where you possibly have the best track or the eye. And that's just basically we'll possibly see the best cone area for hurricanes to come. Again, even if we're not seeing La Nina, this is where we have the best really track almost every season, depending on that. That's where you can possibly see up to 3 to 5 hurricane landfalls. Doesn't mean we're going to have 3 to 5 hurricane landfalls in the U.S. Could be Haiti, could be Puerto Rico, could be Cuba, could be Bahamas. They could see 3 to 5 hurricane landfalls, or in this area could be only seeing maybe 2 to 3. But again, any of these areas in this could be seeing 3 to 5 hurricane landfalls, and possibly 1 to 2 major hurricanes, which is a category 3 or more. So that is what a major hurricane is. So that's definitely, if you're in there, again, I'm not trying to scare you, I'm not trying to do anything, just showing you best chance for that. And then in the yellow, we have possibly 1 to 3 hurricane landfalls, and that again could possibly affect areas in the Gulf Coast and even Mexico. And that is it for this slideshow. Now let's get into tropical tidbits. So we don't have any really systems, low pressures of concern right now. I'm going to be showing you exactly what we'll be seeing if we had an area in tropical tidbits, right? So again, this is what we'll be seeing with the wind speeds here in knots. So again, if you see really a hurricane, you see a huge like this, but again, like maybe really big, and seeing pinks and reds, because obviously seeing stronger winds. Again, if we'll have anything, we'll see surface low pressure systems develop off the west coast of Africa. Usually you see the tend to maybe go off the coast of Morocco. And then again, tend to see some low pressure systems. And then again, usually those low pressure systems, when they develop, they usually move very slowly in these areas. And again, that's where we possibly see landfall coming in these areas, of course, going through this. Again, this is where we have those tracks that we saw earlier on. This is what we'll be seeing there. Again, nothing really focused right now, but again, very soon, again, we'll see low pressure systems like this off Africa go up the coast and cause systems. Again, you're really seeing low pressure systems once starting to see low pressure systems off the coast of Africa. Now we're going to be looking at the sea surface temperatures anomaly. Again, this is updated since the last time, since I did post a week ago. Look at these really warm waters off the coast of Africa, getting close to 2.5 degrees above average. 2.5 degrees Celsius above average. That is quite interesting. Very, very warm waters now developing off the west coast of Africa. Not only that, we're starting to see these cooler temperatures off Nova Scotia. those are getting very warm, possibly climbing 3 degrees Celsius above average. That's also very interesting. That could maybe cause, again, the biggest chance for seeing hurricanes going here now because of warmer waters being favored. Also seeing some very warm waters again for general the Atlantic, northern Atlantic. The general's almost 100, almost really 60% above average temperatures, which is actually a little concerning. But again, still has months to change. But this is the one area that could again show that chance for hurricanes not developing as fast because of maybe slightly cooler temperatures. Again, just because it's like 0.5 degrees below average doesn't mean it's going to drop 2 categories. It's just something that could not necessarily weaken, but maybe delay the strengthening. It could stay the exact same wind force, but as it does move past, it might delay the chance of it becoming a hurricane maybe 24 hours. Again, that makes sense there. Again, very warm waters in these areas that pose a threat. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Hope you guys are all now ready for hurricane season, and I might choose to make maybe a chance for a smaller snowstorm crossing the Ohio Valley Northeast, and that might come out later today. Bye, guys.